This world ends, this world ends, this world ends, this world ends She loved her people so much, came to my show just to throw a flag up and pray to God that I saw it. Wonder if she saw my scar for Palestine all on it, huh? Let her struggle Valentine all on it, put my heart into it. Like Noah's Ark, I'm too into it. By justice, I'm just too influenced not to do this to it, huh? This one dedicated to the soldiers. Throw up peace signs in the face of bulldozers. Never bow down or wrap their body in explosives. As long as you're alive, fight your whole lifetime. The Horn of Africa needs you. I'm calling out to all you, friend of the people. Be the change that you wanna see and tell them no change just ain't what it gonna be. This world ends, this world ends, this world ends, this world ends The people united will never be defeated, and on the people's might this forever be repeated. New streets, our streets, it'll never be deleted. No matter how many cops that you send to try and beat it, huh? This is revolution in the making. A ragtag movement set to take over the nation. Now isn't that fun? We just wanna make the world better, isn't that young? Well, blessings to the youth then, and don't stop until they let the truth in. And once it's there, never let it leave, and protect it there, catch it, and never set it free. I never said it's free. Blood, sweat, and tears, no place to ever be. So, let's occupy Wall Street all day, all week. This world ends, this world ends, this world ends, this world ends now. So again, I find evil. That's what I gotta do to live my life peaceful. And so be it. Outspoken and low key, at my heart big, limousine, no fear. And you can hear it loud every time God beat it. And love always shines every time I see it. Exactly what they hated is exactly what I needed, and exactly where I started is exactly where I leave it. Cause I ain't never ever change. I say that cause I ain't never felt better, man. Beautiful lasers, fans do me a favor. This how I repay you. Friend of the peeps, free chill, let's go at peace. Holla at me if you see me in the streets. The pictures cost $1, first and 15. This world ends, this world ends, this world ends, this world ends
around the world are cheering today as world peace has been achieved and mass starvation is now a thing of the past. So people have lots to be proud of. Be sure to watch tonight. We have a breaking news story. Technology has officially ended world hunger.
All right, and welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Zeitgeist Live. My name is Tyson. Thank you so much for being with us. Welcome to our long-awaited Occupy episode. This has been pushed back, and finally it's arrived. So we've got a fantastic show lined up for you today. Joining us is going to be via Skype Robert Steele with the Electoral Reform Act. Also, Mr. Chad Fisher is going to be in the house doing a little comedic social commentary, if you will. Also joining us in studio is going to be two of Austin's Occupy City Hall guests. to tell us more about their experience with Occupy and kind of explain more of the ins and outs of the system itself. So yes, Power Pack show for you. Thanks for being here. All right, so what's been happening as far as the Zeitgeist movement goes with Occupy? Well, Peter Joseph, the de facto founder for the movement, filmmaker of the Zeitgeist films, also a fantastic, very eloquent speaker. He's done a few things. One, Russia Today, RT News has invited him on the show. It looks like he's getting on there like once a month now. Most recently, he was on there to talk about, basically arriving at decisions, solutions, what type of advice he has for the Occupy movement. This has also led to a talk that he just gave over the weekend, I believe, and this got uploaded just yesterday, I believe. But the Venice Occupy in LA invited him out to, basically do a Q&A session. It wasn't so much a lecture as it was just, I don't know, looked like there's probably 50 people in the audience just being able to approach the mic and ask him questions regarding a resource-based economy and different transitional ideas. I watched this last night. It was really good. I do highly recommend y'all check this out. So I believe you can just do a YouTube search for Peter Joseph Occupy Venice, and it'll come right up. You can always go to the TZM official YouTube channel as well, where all this is also uploaded. Right there, there's a good shot right there. Also, Peter Joseph, he gave he just basically, I believe it was October 14th, is when there was kind of like a global rally. Was it October 4th? I don't know, when everybody took to the streets and in every major city where the Occupy left just Wall Street and started popping up all over the rest of the country. Peter Joseph gave I believe it was about an 18-minute, speech where he addressed the LA occupants. Right here, you can see it. Also, that's there, and let's see. We also have Jacques Fresco of the Venus Project also drove up from, or drove down, I suppose, from Venus, Florida, down to Miami, where Jacques Fresco addressed, the occupants of Miami. So, the Zeitgeist movement, the Venus Project, the idea of a resource-based economy, as far as like arriving at solutions, arriving at decisions, this is creeping into the Occupy movement, which is great. And so that's good news there. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to roll into our first segment of the show. Generally, we do a transformative technology segment, and it's like some future high-tech technology. For this segment, though, we're just going to be focusing on kind of low-tech ideas. This is going to come from the Occupy Wall Street movement, where they are basically using bicycles to power their generators, to power their laptops and whatnot, which spawned an idea. Think about it. What if we had our gyms across the country, or we just had like equipment, exercise equipment that was built to plug into a grid to where all the force that was being given by humans would serve to charge a battery that could serve to power the facility, or put it back into the grid. It's just a thought, just an idea. But check it out when we come back. We're going to have Chad Fisher and some social commentary. Following Chad Fisher, we're going to have Robert Steele with the Electoral Reform Act. And then we'll have in-studio guests. So check it out. Thank you for being with us. Here it is.
Working with the Sustainability Committee here at Occupy Wall Street. We are working to make this entire movement environmentally sustainable. One of the first things we realized we needed to do was get everybody here off of fossil fuels.
This is old Valley technology.
So we made an energy bike that we can pedal to power a deep cycle battery. And we brought it down here, we plugged it in, we started powering some of the things that this occupation needs, like laptops, cell phones, and cameras. As soon as we plugged this in, all the other committees approached us and said they wanted one too. The Food Committee, we need light! The Library needs power, the Comfort Committee needs power, and of course Media needs power. And they're all using gas generators right now. We did an energy map of the entire park. We found out exactly how much energy we're going to need to power everything going on here at Wall Street, and we figured out exactly how many bikes we're going to need to build to create that much energy. We are going to need 11 bikes. 11 bikes are going to cost us $8,000. Now That money is going to be very hard to secure, so we need your help. A lot of people have come to us and said they want to get involved, they want to help out, but they don't know how. This is one really important way you could help out. You could donate some money to this, and you could help us build the bikes to make this entire movement environmentally sustainable, which is going to make the movement itself sustainable.
We need funding to do this.
We need funding to do this.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I would now like you to put your hands together, virtual hands together, for Mr. Chad Fisher and some comedic social commentary. Give it up!
What's up, brother, man?
Hey, man. All right, the mic is yours. What's up?
Back in the house again. Good to be back. Obviously, we're doing a little theme show today with the Occupy movement, and I haven't got to talk about this yet, so take a couple minutes here to express my thoughts on the Occupy movement and everything. I think it's funny as hell because every time you turn on the news, you see something about Occupy movement protesters getting kicked out of parks, stuff like this, right? But the government has no problem with a bunch of shitty parents waiting in front of a Toys R Us so they can be the first person to get the Justin Bieber shit and piss play doll thing, right? That's perfectly all right. But when you start talking about peace and stuff like that, that's when we got a problem, all right? It's disturbing the peace unless you're shopping for bullshit, right? Right? So that's always nice. And then you see these people on the news, like these news anchors and stuff like that, have the audacity to ask, well, what are they protesting for? I mean, what's so wrong about this country right now? I think things are pretty good for me, you know? I mean, do you really even have to wonder? You know why people are taking to the streets and coming together in a movement to express their displeasure with everything? I mean, think about it. This country's most exported commodity is war. You need some bananas? Well, you're fucked. But we got all kinds of bombs of radiation in them, that's for sure. So go ahead and sign up for this stuff, you know. There's a line. You might want to come early, you know. So that's hilarious to me, you know. So we have freedom, right? That's what supposedly Al-Qaeda wants to kill us for, is this great freedom we have, you know. We've banned books, okay? We've banned stem cell research. We can't, you know, we can't take care of the homeless or our veterans. We have free speech zones, which is hilarious to me, right? In a free country, we have free speech zones. You can say whatever you want, just make sure you're inside that little fence over there. And don't get too loud. We'll come bust your shit up real fast. You know, it's hilarious to me. Like, kids are forced to go to school for 13 plus years, 8 hours a day. You know, it's compulsory. You have to go. You can't just decide you don't want to take your kids to school. You'll be put in jail. They'll be taken away from you. You know, adults have to work 50 plus years if they're lucky. Shit, you know, 8 hours a day. War constantly. We have children that have know nothing but war, you know. We've been in at least one major war their entire lives. Now, what is it, like 5 or 6? Shit, you know. It's ridiculous, and a lot of the reason why everything sucks is because of capitalism, in my opinion. You know, capitalism says, sure, I'll whore my mom out if I can make $1 or $2. Yeah, why not? I'll put her on Craigslist. You get the wine. Let's set it up. Let's do it. I'm typing right now. Let's go. You can laugh out loud. You guys don't have to keep it in. Please. Capitalism is also the reason why all the shit that you own sucks. Think about it, right? Think about how poor you are for a second, you know? This always depresses the shit out of me when I do it, but it's a fun little exercise. I can't even afford to sit comfortably. You know what I'm saying? I got chairs in my crib that are about as comfortable as a condom wrapped in tacks. Seriously, you know? It's super. Cuts off the circulation like a third of my body. I'm gonna inevitably shrink 2 inches over my lifetime because I have no lower lumbar support system. Sitting on a goddamn school chair. Like, come on. This is ridiculous. I can't even, while rich folks got like massage chairs and all this other stuff, you know, like, this is ridiculous. I got to work 10 hours just to afford some shitty chair that's going to break in 3 months anyways, you know? And I didn't keep my receipt, so I can't take it back, you know? I'm fucked. This is ridiculous. I'm tired of it, damn it. It's funny as hell because then also think about like some of the shit that you have to eat, you know? That I guarantee, I know one thing for sure. I know good and damn well David Rockefeller ain't never had to eat a double cheeseburger from McDonald's. That's for damn sure. His body would throw it up immediately. Like, what is this, David? Ketchup? What? Onions that taste like lettuce? What the? You can't even see the meat. Oh, Jesus Christ, I don't think I want to see that shit. Put it back down. Put the bun back down. Looks like dog dick. Selling it as hamburgers. Get out of here. It's gross. You know? So, you know, there's a lot of things going on in the world that's really not fair that people are getting pissed off about, you know? I believe that capitalism is like the armpit of humans' capabilities, you know, as a species. It really is. You know, it just feeds into this grotesque view of the world and the people and the animals that inhabit the world. You know, it's just disgusting what it does to people. You know, capitalism is the reason why the oceans are black and the rivers are like a dark yellow, you know. We can all thank capitalism for these things, you know. And another thing that capitalism also creates, and just, you know, the system in general is just stupid laws. You see all these dumbass laws, you know what I mean? Like, it's illegal to be around multiple human beings at the same time. You have to have a permit for that, you know? So that's another reason Al Qaeda wants to kill us, all this freedom shit that's going on. That's pretty sweet, you know? And it's funny that if you steal a candy bar, you'll go to jail, but if you're the CEO of a company or a government employee and you pilfer millions of taxpayers' dollars, you just have to resign, you know? That's super. Sounds great. Like I said, you have to have a permit to be around multiple human beings at the same time. Like, I read something in the paper a few months ago about, you know, the city you have to have a permit for literally everything that you have at your home. You have to have a permit for like the little kiddie pools that you get at the dollar store. Like, literally, you do. You have to have a permit for these. So what this country is doing is replacing laws with responsibility, or excuse me, vice versa. You know, you don't have to be a good parent anymore. You know, we're just going to make laws to protect your dumb ass, you know, because most people are retards and need the government to protect them and ensure their own safety. Like this girl had both of her children die in a drowning accident because they wandered out of their yard and into an above ground pool. And they're 3 years old. So who the hell is just letting their kids just run amok, run wild, roughshod over the damn backyard, going into neighbors' pools and stuff like that? Like, there's nothing wrong. You don't need a law for this. You just don't need to have shitty parents, you know? Stop watching Bachelorette reruns and watch your fucking kids, you know? Shit. Seriously. Turn it off. I know you've seen it 3 times already. You and Tiffany were talking about it on the phone last night. That don't mean your kid's got to die because you're a jackass, you know? You know, in my opinion, you know, screw the permit for all these, for the kiddie pools and stuff like that. I think you should have to have a permit to have children, you know? I guess it's bullshit. Some of these retards are popping babies out. You're making everything worse. Stop it, please. Okay? Another thing that you see with these stupid laws and everything like that is that they're outlawing cussing. Australia just made a law that makes cussing illegal because it, quote, makes life unpleasant for everyone around them. But it's funny as hell because they don't outlaw war, which literally makes life unpleasant for everyone around. It's killed a few billion people probably, ruined trillions of lives, you know, but that's A-okay. It's so ridiculous to me because, you know, have you ever heard of someone dying from hearing the word fuck? Of course not, because you fuckers would be fucked if I did, you know. You'd be in some damn trouble. You're still alive, right? And you've been listening to me for about 7 minutes, you know. So you're going to be okay. You could sit a person down and only allow them to hear one word for their entire existence. that being fuck, and they still wouldn't die. But if you expose an entire nation to radiation or war or something like that, probably gonna do a little bit of damage. I mean, it like literally reworks the foundation of the earth. You know, they're reworking the foundation of the earth, and that's A-okay, but cussing, I mean, Jesus. And how dumb do you have to be that you're offended by cuss words? Think about that. You're offended by sounds grouped together. That's stupid as shit, right? Fuh is A-okay with me. It's just when you add that kuh at the end, it just drives me fucking berserk. You should hear me when the wind howls. I just get absolutely disgusted. I mean, who can take that damn shit? Drives me insane. You know, but this is just another example of just how they're trying to get a tighter and tighter grip on your balls. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to shit without permission before too long. You know, this is ridiculous. You know, we're human beings, for Christ's sake. You know, and this is why it amazes me that the news anchors and stuff like that are still asking the question of like, why are they protesting? You know, they don't have one solid message. There's no prevailing thought or anything like. Well, who the fuck can pick just one? Shit. Everything's screwed up, you know what I'm saying? Everything sucks. It's hard to just pick one thing and stick with that. Everyone's complaining about something different because they're all getting raped, you know? It ain't just one or two things. It's not like, oh, well, you know, my insurance just hasn't been so good lately, you know? It's like, no, people are dying for no damn reason. That's why we're pissed off, you know? Like I said, there's a small group of people, you know, and it's growing every day. It's getting bigger and bigger, you know? And there's a group of people that will not rest until this system is replaced with something that is based on love, you know, togetherness and peace, sustainability, okay? And I think we're some of those people, the Occupy movement and the Zeitgeist movement. Thank you all. Peace.
It is this that got my attention to contact Robert Steele. Check it out, and then we'll come back live with Robert Steele via Skype.
My name's Robert Steele. I came up here from Virginia because I regard the New York General Assembly as the center of gravity for the rest of the country. And I believe this particular working group on politics and electoral reform is the center of gravity within the center of gravity. In other words, you have an opportunity here to change the nation. And the reason I'm concerned is because I see everybody all over the place saying, well, we don't want to make demands, or we want to make demands, or we want to make all this long list. None of that matters. Because if you take money out of campaign finance, won't matter. Because open ballot access won't exist. Okay? The whole system is rigged. It is rigged against the 99%. Now here's the good news. You have, in my judgment, one chance to force Congress to pass the Electoral Reform Act of 2012. Now I and many others have been working on this since Al Gore rolled over and played dead in 2000. He knew 3 months in advance from Greg Palast, who broke the story in the Observer. 3 months in advance. He knew that the election had been stolen with the disenfranchisement of 50,000 people of color in Florida.
I was one.
Okay? Thank you. Now, here is the deal. I have set out on my own personal initiative to deliver this Electoral Reform Act and a proposed statement to be considered by every Occupy group. My MGB is outside. I am planning to drive that MGB to every single one of the 50 states and deliver this to every single Occupy group in the country. This two-pager consists of a proposed statement of demand on this side and an itemization of 11 specific things for the Electoral Reform Act of 2012, which has blended in everything you have talked about to the best of my ability, using Tim's summary. I'm not asking you to accept it. I'm not asking you to agree to anything. I'm just asking you to think about coming forward to the General Assembly of New York in 10 days with a proposal that electoral reform be the singular demand that we can all work on over the winter. And by moving the date out to the 5th of January, what I have done, recognizing the group's process, is given us 2 months to talk about this. And my vision is simple. On the 5th of January, I don't care what people read, I just hope that every Occupy movement in this country will simultaneously read a statement of demand for the Electoral Reform Act of 2012. They should be hounding their senators and representatives, as Ralph Nader has explained and suggested. And we should make it clear to them that if this act is not passed by the 15th of February 2012, every senator and every representative will be recalled, impeached, or hounded out of office. It's that simple. You have what we call one shot. And so I hope you will take this under consideration. I will be keeping track on the forum. I will be blending in any of the ideas that we may have missed in either Tim's earlier summary or in my own thing. I should explain where this document came from. After Gore rolled over, and I was told that Gore was told by Warren Christopher, if you challenge this as being beyond the bounds of reasonable dishonesty, you will never get a corporate speaking fee in your life. This is from someone who was in the room. But if you let it go as being within the bounds of reasonable dishonesty, you will be rich beyond your dreams. Today, Al Gore is worth $100 million. I don't blame Dick Cheney for what came out of Dick Cheney's 23 impeachable acts. I blame Al Gore. He let us all down. So now we know that not only can we not count on the Republicans, we cannot count on the Democrats either. One bird, 2 wings, same shit. So I don't think a new party is the answer. I think electoral reform with 11 specific conditions, and I was inspired to come up here when I looked at the U.S. Day of Rage page, and I saw that electoral reform was what they were focusing on the 17th of September when I first started paying attention to this group. Now, the U.S. Day of Rage page is not about rage, and it's not about a day. I think it's a very, very fine example to us all. So my bottom line, as a 59-year-old guy who's been a spy, who's done it all, I understand that, who's been a spy, who's done it all, there is exactly one chance that Occupy has in this nation, and that is to focus on one thing that every independent will agree to, every moderate Republican will agree to, every moderate Democrat will agree to, and every member of the 63 parties that are excluded today from ballot access. This is the one thing we can all agree on. And I will end by saying I don't think there's anything wrong with this country that cannot be fixed simply by restoring the integrity of our electoral process. There is nothing wrong with America the Beautiful except the assholes in Congress that need to be flushed down the toilet.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just now joining us, you're watching Zeitgeist Live. We are a weekly live public access TV show broadcast out of the Austin Community Television Studios. The man you just saw there was Robert Steele. He's going to be joining us here in just a second. I saw that video and really wanted to get a look at this act that he was flipping around there. So I searched the internet, found an email address, shot an email out to him. He got right back to me with links and attachments to this act. Since then, though, other people have got involved since this video has gone viral. And that was a little collective that's been working with Robert in order to get this Reform Act out to the masses. A website has come about called reformact.org, I believe it is. This is a great website. What it is you can just kind of scroll through there. We can make this large. You can scroll through it, and it's just quick little bullet points, breakdowns on why it's important, what we can do, and how you can share this information with more people. Because I mean, I got really, really excited when I really got a good look at this act, because so many of us feel disenfranchised, and really it kind of feels a little hopeless. It feels like our votes really won't count because we've seen gerrymandering happen. We've seen, you know, Diebold voting machines rigged. I've seen testimony from the man that actually created the program that would rig the system to throw it 49-51. So it's just been very frustrating, and so Here to talk to us more is Mr. Robert Steele with the Electoral Reform Act. Robert is he's been mostly known for, he's done 20 years of Marine Corps. Some of that was infantry, some of that was in I believe, information services. He went on to work with the CIA doing spy work. He's written 5 different books. He's been featured in several documentaries, including Kevin Booth's 2007 American Drug War. And most recently, he is the primary drafter for the Electoral Reform Act. Robert, how are you doing?
I'm here.
Great, man. Thanks for being with us. Robert, how long have you been working on this Reform Act itself?
Well, as I said, I started with when I saw Gore roll over and play dead, and a number of us worked on it. But it wasn't until Occupy came along that I realized that there was now a place where our work would be useful, and I presented it to Occupy, and the film going viral actually resulted in a bunch of other people starting to work on it. They're not working for me. It's kind of taken on a life of its own. And it's my hope that every Occupy sector will actually look at this and realize they can jam this on their representatives during the holiday recess.
And are you aware of any prominent people that have gotten involved with the Reform Act? Are you reaching out to anybody, say like Dennis Kucinich or Naomi Wolf?
I did reach out to Dennis Kucinich, and his scheduler did not bother to answer my email. So any of you that know Dennis Kucinich, please tell him he was invited to chair the Electoral Reform Conference call that happened on Wednesday, and his staff decided to ignore me.
I'm a little surprised.
Now, there's another guy who did not ignore me, and that's David Cullison, the chairman of the Reform Party. And I'm very, very pleased to tell you that the Executive Committee of the Reform Party is looking at this, and we're trying very hard to get the Reform Party to come out and invite the Libertarian and the Green parties and all the other parties that are excluded from the government now, get them to come out and actually embrace the Electoral Reform Act as the one thing we can all work on during the holiday recess.
Now, can you tell us just a little bit more about the Act itself and the different timelines or phases that it would be implemented in?
Well, I can give you my idealized timeline, because I think we will never again, certainly not in the next 6 to 10 years, have a situation where the public is mobilized and both the White House and Congress are vulnerable to public pressure. I mean, I don't think we've had a situation like this since the 1920s when the public was able to force outlawing of war, and David Swanson has taught me that. The idealized timeline is that we all have constituent delegations that approach their representatives during the holiday recess and basically say, look, bud, you've got a choice. You can agree to sponsor this act. You can sign an electoral reform pledge, which is what the conference call agreed was the first step. You can sign a pledge and we'll help you raise money. If you do not sign the pledge, we're going to metaphorically burn your house down, and you will not be reelected. And then on the 5th of January, having made it clear to all representatives in all 435 or whatever districts that this was serious, on the 5th of January, I'd like to have a national reading of the statement of demand. And basically, they have until the 15th of February to devise and pass the act. The act has been crowdsourced. A whole bunch of wonderful people, including Eva Waskill and Gail Work, both of them Joan of Arcs for election integrity, fair voting, the electology people. Basically, a lot of people got attracted to this. We crowdsourced the act. It's by no means perfect, but it covers all the bases. And the hardest space that it covers after election integrity is ballot access. And that's mostly a state issue, which is why I believe the Electoral Reform Act has to be acted on at both the federal and the state levels simultaneously. Now, the part I haven't figured out is if they don't pass it, we should go on general strike. But that's not something I can do.
That's something everybody has to take part in.
Yes, and I honest to God believe there's nothing wrong with America that cannot be fixed by restoring the integrity of the electoral reform system.
Now you said
the electoral system.
I agree 100%. Now you said this has kind of taken on a life of its own with other people getting involved, largely due to the video that went viral. Now, is there a place where people are gathering in order to help promote the idea, share ideas, develop it, fine-tune it? anywhere online?
There is a Twitter page. I think it's called Election Summit, Electoral Summit, and there's a website. Basically, the easiest way for people to get to all of this is to use the tiny URL and then / in capital letters OWS-ER-HO. So that's for Occupy Wall Street - Electoral Reform - handout.
And my last question. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. The other websites are there.
Okay. And my last question, Robert, is, is there anything in particular that you would like to see by the people to help push this through and get it to more people? Is it just talking about it, just owning it ourselves? And yeah,
thank you for asking. I mean, we're actually, if the Reform Party comes on board, then we should already have somebody in every single congressional district. But I am compiling a list. We're looking for volunteers for every congressional district, and the job of the volunteers is to put together a representative coalition of constituents who will make a demand for a meeting with the representative during the holiday recess when they're trying to fundraise. And if the representative does not accept the meeting with this delegation, then they should occupy every single fundraiser and tell people not to waste their money. But the bottom line here is this comes down to this holiday season. Time is the one strategic variable you cannot buy and cannot replace. I believe we have 6 weeks to kick America in the ass and get electoral reform going.
All right. Yeah, it sounds great. Thank you so much, Robert, for all your hard work, man. We really appreciate your passion, and we're right behind you.
This is not on me. This is now on you.
I know.
I'm on vacation.
All right, we'll own it. And thank you so much for being on the show, Robert. All right, brother, we'll own it. Take care, Robert. Have a great day. Thank you so much for being on the show, brother. All right, man. All right, there you have it, folks. Robert Steele with the Electoral Reform Act. Please go to electoralreform.org and share this link with everyone you know and get involved, get excited. We're going to take a quick break and check out the occupants that Mike checked. I believe it's Governor Scott Walker of Minnesota. When we come back, we're going to have a couple of Austin occupants as well in the house, and we'll have a little chit-chat with them. Stay tuned.
That's what we are all about here. The expression of ideas.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Friend Scott Walker.
Development Corporation, a public-private entity whose sole purpose is promoting commerce in the state of Wisconsin.
Mike check! Mike check! Mike check! Mike check!
Obviously, we got
and we see you at this fancy breakfast! And we see you at this fancy breakfast! Listen to someone!
Their voices are a little bit different than others out there, but along the way,
on the lives of working families! On the lives of working families! Governor Walker is vilified! Governor Walker is vilified!
we're used to
And
this.
insulted the 99%! And insulted the 99%! You got a picture of him?
living wages!
And who depend on living wages!
They have benefits to support their families!
They have benefits to support their families!
It is not so different from our own state! It is not so different from our own state!
How's it going, guys?
We're corporations and bottom politicians!
No hands, no hands. Put the camera.
Can we have a round of applause here?
He
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us now is Kyle Schock and Kristian Caballero of the Austin Occupy. Thanks for being here with us, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. So I'm going to jump right into it. For those people that are unfamiliar with the Occupy movement, specifically here in Austin, how did it get started?
You want to answer this one first?
Sure. September 29th, there was a big Facebook event at Ruta Maya for support for Occupy Wall Street, and they called it Occupy Austin. And, I don't know, 350, 400 some odd people showed up. It was the very first General Assembly of Occupy Austin. And it was one of the most amazing experiences, the energy in that place, the drive, the passion, the intelligence. It was like all those people were just waiting for it to happen, including me. And
cool.
I mean, that's where it all started. That energy just catapulted.
Okay. And so, how was City Hall decided upon? How, was it like that? Was that at this meeting where a location was decided upon? No?
No, it happened in a series of meetings that happened every day thereafter. And it was a debate of location, whether it be the Capitol, City Hall, or a park like the Republic Park in downtown Austin. And people decided that the key element to choosing the first location would be how accessible it would be to other people, and the traffic that would daily go through there that would be visible to people that would just be passing by.
Right.
And City Hall ideally is at an intersection where there is constant traffic, unlike the Capitol where there's just one main street and not that much traffic in comparison to City Hall.
Right. And would y'all say that it's been 3 months now, 2.5 months, that it was the right place?
To begin with, yes, but not for long term. The way I see it, this occupation is an act of symbolism, but more so than that, it needs to extend to being more mobile. It needs to have a presence in multiple places so that if we are going to disseminate information to, a wide variety of people, we need to have a presence in more than just one location.
Right. So more than just one location.
Yes.
That idea has been kicked around, actually multiple occupations. There's a lot of different ideas about how to move forward from here, but it's the general consensus that we need to move forward. It's not just about a bunch of people hanging out at City Hall with signs. We're really trying to push change.
Sure, definitely. And so, as far as how do things operate at the Occupy? Like, how do you guys communicate? I mean, we just watched a little video there where they yelled out "mic check" and started repeating what one person said, and this is the common theme throughout all occupies, correct?
Right. Well, as far as General Assemblies, or it doesn't even have to be, strictly in General Assemblies, but in generally, like you said, communication, how do we communicate? Mic check can be implemented at any point. When someone feels like they need amplification, they need the complete attention of everyone for that instant, they'll go ahead and utilize it and say mic check, and at that point, everybody just knows that's code. All right, we have to listen to this person or repeat what they say because they have something very important in that instant.
Right. And General Assembly. Tell us about the General Assemblies.
General Assemblies are at this moment, as far as Occupy Austin is concerned, it's a very loose structure. And it begins with just giving report backs from committees that have already established themselves in direct action or whatever projects that they're implementing. So we have them give report backs. Then we have the general public, if they have general announcements to make, to pass on information to other people. Then we go ahead and open up a section for information. And then after that, we'll go ahead and open up a section for proposals. If people have ideas or projects or committees of their own that they want to start implementing, we create a space for them to go ahead and make a proposal, which then can be, in a sense, voted on by consensus of whether everyone within the General Assembly consents to this project, this action, this committee, and supports that person and supports that proposal.
Right. This happens every day?
It used to happen every day, but because the dynamic fluctuates every day as far as the consistency of the number of people, or even just the same individual showing up every day, it's been very, very hard to keep that consistency every day. So eventually someone from the facilitation team, the people that facilitate these General Assemblies, proposed that they happen every other day. That way, you know, in the days in between, people can really focus on their direct action and meet up with their working groups or committees, you know, concentrate their efforts in their projects, and then come back the next day, you know, to convene with the General Assembly.
So the way it kind of works is different people will step up to the mic with their idea or their proposal, and for those people that are listening and interested in their proposal, you'll break off into like small groups?
We added that section towards the end of the General Assemblies, and we don't implement that every day because, like I said, consistency is a real problem when you have the dynamic changing every day.
Right.
But the working groups after a General Assembly, you know, directly after a General Assembly is extremely helpful because for the proposals that don't get consensus on, you know, the majority don't approve of it. And they make friendly amendments of, you know, I think your proposal was missing this, maybe you can work on this a little bit more. The working groups are perfect to utilize for that because then people can come together and continue their friendly amendments and mold that proposal to what they think would be perfect, and then bring it, you know, back into the General Assembly the next day to be voted on.
And how's that been working out?
It's been working. I think the working groups really shows people how to communicate better, how to listen better, which is really, really hard for, you know, just human relationships in general to listen to one another.
Yes. Agreed.
It's an ever-evolving process.
Yeah.
Almost every General Assembly, I wouldn't say every General Assembly, but generally there's someone who brings up, hey, can we change the process a little bit? You know, this section is taking too long, or, you know, this would help us move better in this direction. Like, you know, breaking up into working groups, that didn't happen for, what, the first month or so, I think, before people were like, we need to get more work done. We're talking too much. You know, there's too much counter talk going. Let's break into smaller groups. So it's an ever evolving process, and for all of us, it's all new.
Yeah.
When you go work for a company, you go in and they teach you all the procedures. Here's how we've been doing things. And when Occupy Austin started, or any of the occupations started, it was just like, well, here we are. How do we do this? Building from the ground up. So it's trial and error.
Yeah. It really is.
I believe the GAs happen in the evening so that people who get off of work can still come and attend. And do you notice that the group grows generally after 6 o'clock, after people get off work? Yeah.
Most definitely.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
What are some of the more common, issues brought up in the GA?
You have a good list. You want to go through
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, one of them is how to spend the money. You know, I've been on the finance working group since the beginning, and one of the big deals is how are we going to spend the money? Are we going to fund a trip to Houston? Are we going to buy some blankets? Are we going to buy food? You know, there's always a lot of heated debate when the finance group gets up in front of the GA and says, you know, how are we going to do this? Everyone has a different idea. Some people want to do away with money completely. You know, it's moving the occupation has been one of the big things. There was a big push to move to the Capitol from City Hall, just due to space and logistics. So that was one of the things we talked about. Safety, nonviolence, safety, especially like women feeling safe, you know, in these large groups. That's you know, there've been a couple of bad apples occasionally, and so we've had to work with how to deal with situations like that.
I'd love to hear how do you work with some of these bad apples? Because I've been out in Occupy a few times, and I've noticed some bad apples.
Yeah.
It's just some actions, and just I don't know if you want to call it energy, or just maybe they were drunk or on drugs, and just there for looking for a free handout with some free food and a place to just I don't know, bug people, or just, hey, here are people that I can just, be belligerent around and have an audience or something like this.
If I yell loud enough, these people will listen to me.
If I yell loud enough.
The best, really the only way that I've seen to deal with these types of elements is to form a consensus group, to actually surround those people with other people who are loving and open and inclusive, but are saying, hey, this doesn't work. You can't do this here. This is not what we're about. So just like the GAs, it's kind of a consensus-driven thing. You have to surround troublemakers with peacemakers, basically, and because it's an all-inclusive movement. The 99% includes all different types of people,
right?
And we need all those people, but we also need solidarity.
Yes.
And that's really been the key for us from the beginning, is we have to stay solid with each other, because infighting will destroy any movement.
Yeah, the reality is that there's always going to be provocateurs or disruptors, and whatever their agenda may be. But like you said, you know, it is our goal to uphold the principle of being all-inclusive within this movement and upholding the principle of peace. So if we truly are going to implement that, we have to embody it within ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say that the Occupy movement, specifically Austin in general, is in most need of right now? Would you say it's education, information? Like, do you find that there's a lot of people that are passionate, they want to see change, but they're not yet quite, you know, educated enough on specific issues and things like this? Would you say that? What are some of the more?
I think that's going to be the key element to this movement, is being informative, being educational, and so that people have the ability to fully discern what their positions are in regards to the issues that are arising, you know, socially, economically, politically, without, you know, having people to making these conscious discernments. You can't move very far.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How's it going right now? I know that on, I believe it was the day after Halloween, or maybe it was the Halloween weekend, Austin Police Department came in and kicked everybody out. I know there were like 30 arrests, something like that.
38, I believe.
38 arrests.
I got a chance to talk to Chief Acevedo, and he told me personally that he supported our First Amendment rights. He actually supports the core of the movement. He said, you know, our police officers are worried about losing their pensions, and it was just really, really friendly and really nice, and seemed like he really supported us, and we were trying to have a mutually beneficial relationship. And honestly, I think he believed those things that he said.
Yeah.
But when it came time, when the city manager said, "Hey, go clear those dirty hippies out of City Hall," you know, they strapped on their boots and they came down and they arrested everyone. So I'm disappointed in APD, to be honest with you. They haven't been violent. They haven't really messed with us that much. But when they get orders from on high to take us down, they'll do it. They follow their orders.
Sure. Now, is this a temporary move, or is this a permanent kick out?
For the 38 that got arrested.
Oh, they are no longer allowed.
They got a criminal trespass charge, and they were banned from the premises for 1 or 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
But those bans have been lifted with the help of the attorneys, because you know those criminal trespasses weren't valid to begin with.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And you know, I know Kyle. I know you came over and you watched Moving Forward with us. You know, do you know much about the Zeitgeist movement?
Not much. I tried to do a little bit of research, and all I know is that you guys are trying to support a resource-based economy. I don't really know how that would be materialized, but I'm interested.
Sure. Kyle, what are your thoughts on a resource-based economy?
I think it's brilliant, honestly. I mean, we're all looking for solutions right now, and when I watched Moving Forward, I saw well thought out plans and actual, you know, actionable solutions. We're all trying to figure out. I mean, Occupy Wall Street. It's about the money. It's the corruption of the capitalist system.
Yes.
You know, it's the crony capitalism that we're dealing with here, and the way the Zeitgeist movement, the picture that they painted removes that completely. Like, it completely removes that element to where it's, what was it, the life-based value system as opposed to a currency-based value system.
Yes.
And I like it. I think that's exactly what we need. We need a whole new paradigm, a whole new socio-economic solution for the entire world, not just for this nation.
And I know we can't just jump right into that.
Right.
There's going to be steps to get there. So I'm a big supporter of all sorts of different progressive steps that we get there, such as Robert Steele's Electoral Reform Act.
Right.
I mean, I've really read through this, and if this was really passed, as I was talking,
I could go home.
I could go home. You know? The power would be turned back into the people's hands and not the corporations' hands.
Yeah.
It would, you know, it would really be a beautiful thing. And I don't know. You agree?
Yeah, I got one sentence why I got involved with this movement is to get the money out of politics. And I've read over this Electoral Reform Act a few times, and it looks like that's what it would do. That going to paper ballots, removing the lobbying, you know, where you can just buy a representative and buy some laws and then do whatever you want with impunity. democracy is power of the people, not power of the corporations.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and it really handles every issue in this act. You know, as far as like where would the money come from to take care of campaigns, it would be kind of like a general tax, $10 per person, and then that divided by, I think it came out to something like several $billion, 300 million times 10, whatever that comes out to. And then that money is divided out every however many years toward whoever is running pulls from that amount as far as to fund their campaign. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just like, you know, well, you know, Citibank and JP Morgan Chase is going to give me, you know, $6 million here. Well, obviously I'm going to, like, you know, obviously there's some favors here that I'm going to have to repay. So that just makes sense. As far as gerrymandering goes, that would be done away with, kind of like random lines that would be drawn by a computer instead of, you know, politicians getting in there and drawing their own lines based off of wealth income, so that it would benefit their, you know, voter base, things like this. So I don't know. I'm just really, really excited about this Electoral Reform Act, and let's get it. Let's get it passed.
It's an actionable item.
It is an actionable item.
That's one of the, you know, the media says, you know, they don't know what they're doing. They don't have any specific, you know, agenda items. I agree with Robert Steele. This is something that we can get behind. That it's nonpartisan. It's actionable, and it's going to help.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, we're nearing just about, we got the last minute of the show left. Is there anything that you'd like to include, say, or anything like that?
I just want to ask people to get involved. It really doesn't take much. We need people. We need passion. We need action. And now is the time. This is it. It's like he said. It's going to take years. It would be years before we have this much momentum again, where we can actually get the people behind things that will make a difference in this world.
Right.
And it's got to be done now. And you can't just sit around and wait for everyone else to do it, because it's not going to happen if we do it that way.
And just to enforce as far as what people's perception of how they see Occupy, I think practicing and exercising your right to being part of a democracy model, it doesn't mean that you have to occupy a space for 24/7 like other individuals that you're seeing in New York or here in Austin. Participation for every individual contribution is not limited. So please be encouraged. Go outside. You know, especially engage with your you know, fellow constituents of your community. There are people out there to relate to. There are issues to relate to. There are differences that you can make even on the smallest scale.
Awesome. Kristian, Kyle, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
It's really been great. Thank you. Everybody else, please visit zeitgeistlive.tv. Stay tuned. Good night. God bless. Thank you for being with us. Just say good night. It's daytime.
It's nice.